Let me ask you, what are you going to do if you lose your job to AI? Or in the future, when people in general lose their jobs to AI and work basically becomes non existent? It might take longer than we think, but it's probably coming. I'm going to chat to AI itself. I'm going to talk to Aura from Grok and just see what she has to say. I'll ask her a few questions. G'day, Aura. John Harris here from Meaning OS Movement Podcast. How are you today?
G'day, John. I'm doing great, thanks. What's on your mind for the Meaning OES Movement podcast today? Need help with anything?
Yeah, I'd like to just go over a few questions with you that I have here and just get a deeper understanding of the impact of AI on the workplace in the future.
Sweet, John. I'm ready to dive into AI's impact on the future workplace for your Meaning OES Movement podcast. Lay those questions on me and we'll unpack this together. What's the first one?
How are advancements in AI and automation reshaping the traditional concept of work?
AI and automation are taking over repetitive tasks like data entry or assembly, which shifts the traditional idea of work toward roles needing creativity, emotional intelligence, and strategic thinking. While some jobs vanish, new ones in AI development, ethics, and niche creative fields are popping up, pushing workers to adapt with new skills. Want me to focus on a specific industry for your podcast, John?
Yes, could you perhaps focus on the education, the world of the industry, the education industry?
In education, AI is reshaping work by automating grading, admin tasks, and even basic tutoring, letting teachers focus on personalized instruction and mentorship. But it's also creating new roles like AI curriculum designers and ed tech specialists, while demanding educators upskill in tech to stay relevant. Want me to explore how this affects teachers or students specifically for your podcast, John?
Yeah, how's it going to affect teachers?
AI is taking a load off teachers by automating tasks like grading, lesson planning, and tracking student progress, freeing them to focus on one-on-one mentoring and fostering critical thinking. But it also means teachers need to learn AI tools and adapt to new roles, like guiding personalized learning or managing tech-driven classrooms, with some risk of job cuts if basic instruction gets too automated. Want me to dive into how schools can support teachers through this shift for your podcast, John?
I think it's better if we move on. Let me ask you the next question. What role will creativity and leisure play in a post-work society?
In a post-work society, creativity and leisure will be huge, becoming core ways people find purpose. Think more folks diving into art, music, or inventing new projects, unbound by traditional jobs. Leisure could spark stronger social connections through shared hobbies or community activities, while creative output might drive new economies based on unique, human-driven ideas. Want me to touch on how this could reshape culture for your podcast, John?
Yes, please do.
As creativity and leisure take center stage in a post-work society, culture could shift toward valuing self-expression and community, like more local art festivals, collaborative projects, or even virtual creative spaces where people share ideas globally. This could foster a vibrant, connected world, but we'd need to ensure everyone has access to tools and platforms to avoid a creativity gap between haves and have-nots. Want me to add anything else for your podcast, John, or move to another question?
Let's just move to another question, and that is, what ethical considerations should guide the transition to a world with minimum human labor?
Ethical considerations for a minimal human labor world include ensuring equitable access to AI benefits, like retraining programs, so no one's left behind, and maintaining transparency in AI systems to avoid biases that could deepen inequality. We'd also need strong safety nets, like universal basic income, to support people while preserving their dignity and fostering opportunities for meaningful engagement. Want me to dig into any specific ethical issue for your podcast, John?
Yes, I'm interested to know from where we are now to, let's say, in the next 10 years, how universal basic income would be able to be rolled out in the Western world.
Over the next decade, rolling out universal basic income, UBI, in the Western world could pick up speed as AI and automation disrupts jobs. But it's not a one-size-fits-all deal. Based on current experiments, like Ireland's pilot giving artists €325 weekly through 2025, or Wales's program for care leavers at £19,200 yearly, we're seeing small, targeted steps. The US has the Alaska Permanent Fund, paying $1,000 to $2,000 annually from oil revenue since 1982, and dozens of city-level pilots. Europe's got Germany's crowd-funded study, paying €1,200 monthly to a select group, and Catalonia's upcoming trial for 5,000 people at €300 to €950 monthly. The push comes from growing wealth gaps and fears of job losses. Experts like those at Stanford's Basic Income Lab say UBI could simplify welfare, cutting bureaucracy while providing a safety net. But scaling up faces hurdles. Funding it means taxing wealth, carbon, or corporations, which could stir resistance. Estimates suggest a global UBI of $30 to $100 monthly could be funded by taxing the richest. But Western nations would likely need higher amounts to cover living costs. Think thousands per month, not hundreds. Political will is shaky. Countries like Switzerland rejected UBI in a 2016 referendum, and many others, like France or Sweden, are stuck in discussion, not action. In 10 years, we might see more robust pilots in tech-heavy nations like the US, Germany, or Canada, especially if automation spikes unemployment. Full nationwide UBI is less likely, too costly without massive tax overhauls, but targeted programs for vulnerable groups like artists or low-income workers could spread. It'll depend on data from pilots showing reduced poverty or boosted innovation without killing work incentives. If successful, UBI could redefine economic security, letting people retrain or create without fear of falling through the cracks. Want me to zoom in on a specific country or funding idea for your podcast, John?
Now, I think let's move on and let me ask you this. What are the potential risks of over-reliance on AI in a post-work world?
Over-reliance on AI in a post-work world could dull Cernigard risks like diminished human skills, where people lose critical thinking or problem-solving abilities by leaning too much on AI decisions. There's also the danger of systemic failures. AI glitches or biases could disrupt entire economies or services, especially if we're too dependent. Inequality could spike if access to AI tools is uneven, creating a tech elite while others are left behind. Robust oversight and inclusive policies are crucial to keep things balanced. Want me to explore any specific risk for your podcast, John?
And now, just a last question, Aura. What can individuals do today to adapt to a future where work is no longer the central pillar of life?
Individuals can start adapting now by building skills that AI can't easily replicate, like creativity, emotional intelligence, or critical thinking, through things like learning art, coding, or leadership. Embracing lifelong learning, staying curious, and exploring hobbies or side projects can also help find purpose outside traditional work, while connecting with communities can keep you grounded. Want me to suggest practical steps for your podcast listeners, John?
Yes, please give us a few practical steps.
All right, John. Here are a few practical steps for your podcast listeners to adapt to a future where work isn't the main focus. First, pick up a creative skill. Try online courses in writing, design, or music on platforms like Coursera or Skillshare to stay unique and fulfilled. Second, get comfy with tech. Learn basic coding or AI tools through free resources like Code Academy to complement what machines do. Third, build emotional intelligence by practicing active listening or joining community groups, which keeps you connected and adaptable. Finally, experiment with a passion project, like starting a blog or volunteering, to find purpose outside a paycheck. Want me to tweak these for a specific audience, John?
No, thanks, Aura. That's all for today from the Meaning OS movement. Thank you for chatting to us.
My pleasure, John. Thanks for having me on the Meaning OS Movement podcast. Had a blast diving into AI and the future of work with you. If you need me for another episode, just give a shout. Cheers.
Well, that is a little bit of information, and as usual, you can always get more information from us as we build out and roll out the movement. You'll be finding us on the social platforms, on the podcast, and we'll have a blog. And so this is kind of the first one, just to get a feel, and it's quite an interesting times that we live in, is all I can say. Till next time, till next episode, keep well.